Picture this. You wanted to make a good lewd game. You've experimented a few times, and this is somewhat of your first lewd game outside of a few prototypes. You tried different engines, and maybe one day, or maybe through, I don't know, going through one of your documents, you had the idea of, well, essentially heavy metal, but a fantasy lewd game. Little did you know that, well, your game would also become one of the many poster children of like how good lewd games can get. Not just as a good way of getting yourself out of the way to, but also to just be a very good time. While you were at it, you also decided to pick one of the most fucking cursed game engines ever made. Okay, yeah, that's sure you weren't hentai writer, but you were at least second place to many people's hearts. And now you recently finished your game, and well, that's my job. Okay, I'm done glazing for right now. So, this week we have Heavy Hearts.
Overlord, didn't you already review this game?
Yeah, but that was nearly 5 years ago. And I felt like I could have done better with a few things, and also the game's fully finished, so which means many quality of life improvements, so I figured it's worth a revisit. But enough talk, let's just get right on to business. So, this game starts with Luccia actively seeing her village or her city or her, basically her home, essentially getting into an active jihad by these mysterious ghoul-like things. We'll talk about them later. Before she gets completely sent to the Shadow Realm, her commander or captain or I don't know who the fuck this is, instructed her to run as fast as she can. Later on, the human race is nearly fucking extinct, but a silver lining is that she has a friend. His name is Rehd, who is not only a great companion for a lot of the dialogue scenes, but also helps out with giving health and pose. And pose is a very fucking precious resource, but I'll get into that later. You encounter a horde of Urks on their way to their camp, which surprisingly leads me to talking about the action parts. In my old review, I talked about how the gameplay is very adjacent to this game called Summon Night Swordcraft story, which still holds true, but you know, I also have the added effect of adding elemental attacks and a, well, proper heavy attacks. Later on, you get a werewolf companion in your battle named Dog, and I shit you not, that's his name. And you get a glithe transformation. And I'ma keep it a stack with you, I barely use this goddamn thing outside of like the last two bosses. But that's something that you can use as well. Anyway, we infiltrate the orc camp and find two people. A human mage from, I guess, the future named Priscilla, who is a bit of a BBW mage, and a half-orc named Kevin, who, by the way, has a massive facelift. So you break both of them out of prison, with Pris following your lead. Kevin regrouping later on if he can. Later on, Pris talks about magic school, which could be for some potential help, but out of fucking nowhere, the glithe end up raiding the school. The same way how your village is.
Oh god damn it.
Unfortunately, Luccia gets kidnapped, with Rehd following suit after her. With Rehd encountering a pack of wolves, and in fact that's kind of how we encountered Dog. And well, the moment Rehd mentions a human, they all get excited. So they all decided to rescue her. So after getting rescued from the glithe, she also now has her own glithe transformation, as I previously mentioned. But we also, during that time, encounter Kevin, who uses harsh language on a glithe monster, which surprisingly worked. While they're at it, an airship fell down, operated by Vivi. Yeah, that's what you get for lowballing me for that power supply. The next order of business is to finally take down the glithe. So, one infiltration to a mega party, which has a lot of cameos from a lot of different games and a lot of different VTubers. But we're going to focus on one, the alchemist tiefling, Melissa. By the way, yes, this whole scene is very homogeneous. Give it some time, I'm also going to be appearing in a few of these games, I guarantee it. Speaking of the alchemist tiefling VTuber, she found out who we are and, well, was planning on putting us in a shirt. However, we showed her who's really boss. Now, Melissa, I'm going to reiterate to this. I'm going to just say it to you once. Actually, no, I'm going to repeat it a few times, okay? We can, we don't want to. We can, we don't want to. We can, we don't want to. But after, well, kicking Melissa's ass, we finally see the Baroness, Fanny. How the hell do you pronounce it? Then, after doing 5 fetch quests, she kills Rehd, steals all the stones, including Red's soul, which I guess was the final stone, and after one boss fight later of her summoning Aragorn and having its true form, depending on how many stars you have is the ending you get. Now, to describe the final boss is annoying as hell, because even Dammit Bird is not immune to the Pixel Game Maker curse. I don't know why, again, this engine is cursed as hell, because during the second half of the game, for me at least, these guys really love spamming the hell out of heavy attacks and AoEs. So unless you're good at dodging, which I'm kinda not, you are going to be strapped for the poise meter, you know, your most precious resource, very much throughout the duration of your battle. And keep in mind, the final boss loves spamming these attacks. And there's even one attack that the final boss has that drains your poise meter. Every last bit of it. And when you have none left, you're practically a sitting duck. So, yeah. Now, granted, there are ways you can recover it. One is through attacking, blocking, and, well, touching yourself and countering. But 3 out of the 4 are actively very practical. Touching yourself is practically you essentially getting sent to the Shadow Realm. But, yeah, keep in mind, I'm just covering the plot in, like, broad strokes, and the gameplay in, like, very broad strokes.
Another thing Overlords actively found it that annoying, some of the treasure chest during battles has mimics that you have to mash the hell out of the attack button, which I need to remind you makes you a sitting duck open for attacks, but they were finite so it wasn't that bad. That RNG didn't fuck him hard in that department. You decide which.
As well. But I haven't even talked about the lore stones, which are just mainly meant for building up characters, or any of the actual heavy heart stuff, which are practically skits from the Tales series. You can clearly tell by this game it wears its inspirations on its sleeve, mainly heavy metal, and I forget the other animes that inspired the game. Which, fun fact about yours truly, I actually watched Heavy Metal 2000 as a kid. Speaking of heavy metal, that's kind of what the battle themes are a bunch of heavy metal guitar riffs, and I know that's meant to help you, gain some bit of pumped up energy, which, trust me, it can be. But surprisingly, the overworld music is very ambiance and atmospheric, which I'm honestly impressed. Now, I talked about in my previous game how the game looked a bit like the Lunar games. Well, the whole presentation. Yeah, I actually do enjoy the overall presentation of the game. Harping on the gameplay one more time is, yeah, I did not like the fact that sometimes RNG decides to fuck me over with, the amount of heavy attacks and AoE attacks that they be spamming. But one clear quality of life improvement, well, 2 actually, is 1, proper controller support, especially if you actually bought the damn game, and 2, when you actually do engage in stealth, there's active indicators of the general area of view. So it's not a beginner's trap anymore during the orc camp, which, yeah, overall, I had a pretty good time with it. Just kind of the last few moments of the game just sucks balls. But until then, everyone, good night and good luck.
If you enjoyed this video, considering liking this video, commenting, and subscribing to the channel. If you want to see Overlord's escapades outside of YouTube, hit up his X, Pixiv, DeviantArt, or Blue Sky, if he ever uses it. If you wish to support the channel by funding the channel, you can DM him on YouTube, Discord, or on Blue Sky to commission artwork from him. You can also donate to the Ko-Fi, or buy some stuff on his Etsy garage sale, or just go on City Wave Plaza.